Citizens United has really probably been the dominating issue in campaign finance since the Supreme Court ruled in January. And what the ruling said was that while in past elections nonprofit and for-profit corporations could spend money in elections through federally regulated political committees, the Supreme Court now ruled that they could actually use their general treasury funds to advocate expressly for or against candidates. Independent groups represent all sorts of different interests, and some of them are registered with the Federal Election Committee as PACs or super PACs, and they have to regularly disclose their donors so we can get a sense of who's funding them. Other ones are registered under different parts of the tax code called Section 501, and they're not obliged to disclose their donors to the Federal Election Committee. So at times it's a guessing game in terms of who funds those groups. This is one of the first elections in which outside spending groups, at least in their totality, are spending more money than these traditional party groups. So it's a more wide open field in terms of who's represented, what they feel that what platform they should adopt, because theoretically a candidate could adopt a platform pleasing to an outside interest group and receive plenty of backing in an election even without the support of a major party committee, which is very different from past election cycles. In this election cycle, conservative groups have far outnumbered liberal groups in terms of their overall spending, at least on the independent side. If Republicans gain majorities in the House and maybe pick up seats in the Senate, there's a strong chance that liberals will feel that they have no choice but to respond with an equally strong set of groups on their side. So you could see an escalation in spending of this sort overall by 2012. Disclosure used to be a fairly bipartisan concept. A lot of groups, particularly conservatives, argued against the idea of restricting overall spending in elections, saying that it was an abridgment of First Amendment rights. But both Republicans and Democrats have for a long time asserted that simply disclosing who is spending what kind of money is a concept that everyone could get behind. The other thing that's been floated a lot is trying to update and reinvigorate a public financing system that could help even the playing field for candidates that agree to accept the majority of their donations from small donors. It could provide matching funds or other forms of public money potentially for candidates who still wish to run campaigns that are funded primarily by individual donors. I think the average consumer of news can learn a lot by looking up donor disclosure forms, understanding the connections between groups, and getting a better sense about what some of these groups that purport themselves as sort of spending broadly on behalf of sort of general welfare are really about and interested in.